So I would like to congratulate our friend and our student, Buchi. Buchi signed up in the month of April, if I'm not wrong, and within last 3 or 4 months of time, he could able to manage and get a job in very good organization in US. So welcome, Buchi, and we would like to give you 10 minutes of our time, and you please share your journey with all our students, uh, so that we can hear what you went through, what you actually did to get this job, and I know that you're already getting a lot of offers now because you actually worked very hard. Please share your journey with every one of our student so that they also feel that this is not unreal, this is real. The people who come from non-IT, they can manage to get a job in IT. Only thing which I want to say before Puchi you start, guys, please share your journey with us and and with all our students.
Hi guys, good morning for those in the US. Good afternoon for those in Africa, for those in India. Good afternoon as well. My name is Buchi, and I came into Thinkcloudly. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Good. So I came into Thinkcloudly out of the blues. I'm like non-IT background, though I have like engineering background and all of that. So I was working as an engineer, but time gets to me. I was tired of going in person to work every day, and as well as okay, COVID hits, and the next thing I would do is just like okay, everybody's working from home. But I was fortunate enough that I was not laid off, so I was still working, but now going into work every day while people were like in the house, relaxing, working from home. So I was just going through my phone on that fateful day, and I've I started knowing about learning about IT. I had a couple of friends that oh, Buchi man, you need to get into this space and all of that, but I did not really see I did not really see who can really teach me or help me in that stage. Even sometimes I decide to like I want to do it on my own. I watch YouTube and it's not entering. I watch Udemy, it still did not work for me. Reason it did not work because I did not really have the background or the understanding of how to do it. So, browsing through every other platform that I could, I was seeing this high price and all of that. I was like, no, 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 no. Or if I enter I'll register, get into their webinar, and the way they speak, or I just will not get interest, or they did not hit the points. So I was going through my phone one fateful day. Nobody introduced me to Thinkcloudly. I was going through my phone one fateful day, and I saw Thinkcloudly like pop out. It popped out, and the caption was just like this platform that we're looking right now. So I immediately I was connected to the caption. I was like, oh wow, Thinkcloudly. I was like, okay, let me give it a try. So I just registered the way I normally registered with every other person, and boom, I had the call, from Nama. The first time we spoke, like the connection was there. We started speaking as friends, as if we've known each other for like plenty years. So I was like, oh, I think I should give this a try. So I registered, he talked to me about it. I was like, okay, definitely I'll give it a try. Since I'm free, there are things I can do and all of that. So, then front and back, then he communicated with me like, oh, Buchi, what time would be the best time for you to join the class? Is it in the morning or in the afternoon? You see, at that point, I knew like, hey, I have to, because I've not had this opportunity for somebody to like be flexible with my time and, and put me into consideration. So yeah, all of a sudden, boom, I entered the class. I registered and I started the class. The first time, AWS. I've heard about AWS before, but actually I've not. I don't know the process or how it goes or how it works. So I started the class, and we're going from IAM to the introduction part and everything. So I was following the class step by step. So along the line in the class, Nama said, once you guys, if you get to um is it RDB, once you do your RDB, you should start applying for job. Immediately I was like, oh wow, RDB, then route 53, start applying for job. If you know that, start applying for job. I was like, okay, so I was just, with that, every day I go through the classes, I review it, and in my badge, I had a couple of my friends that we would do it together. They call me like, hey, Buchi, can you help? And at first, when they say, can you help? I don't really know it well, but because I was able to follow the instruction and the videos, I was able to, help my friends as well. So after that Route 53, I just started creating a template resume and start applying. I was just applying even without completing the courses. I was applying, and behold, I was getting calls. But guess what? Once they call me, I was at first, the joy of me receiving a call from a recruiter was really good. They call you, do you know this? Do you know that? I was like, yes, 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 because I wanted to see the end of it or know the process. So just like that, I was doing it. Then it happens that, okay, man, I'm getting these calls, like different calls every day. How do I manage it? So, I call and they ask me, do you know this? I will say yes. They were like, okay, we'll get back to you. Let's get to the company and all of that. So from that moment, what I started doing is, if they call me and they ask me, do I know this? I'll write it down. Then that's going to be my focus of concentration. Like, I will go learn about, how to do migration, how to do this, how to do that. So I started putting those points one after the other, because everybody calls you with a different idea. So I was doing that, and I was learning as well, going through the classes and everything. So it got to the point where, I was like, hey, okay, I'm ready to write my certification. We did everything, and boom, I passed my certification. I was like, good, I'm into it. So now I started applying for the jobs. At this point, when I got my certification, at this point, the job was no longer like coming. And if I search on the job, it's going to be, you have to have DevOps, you have to know Python, you have to know this. I was like, no, man, that means it's really big. So where do I need to focus on, or how do I go from there? So this is how it works for me. So I went back to all my classes again, and I picked interest on VPC. That's our virtual cloud. So I picked interest on VPC. I was like, okay, this is security. So because most of the time, and during the interview process, if they ask me a question, yeah, sometimes if they ask me a question, I quickly try to browse with my phone and, get the answer. And if I get the answer, I use like the big words. And I remember then Nama will always tell us, hey, don't use any big words that you cannot defend. Because once you use those big words, the interview is going to keep asking you questions. Because if they ask you, what is VPC, you just said, virtual cloud, you don't have no follow-up. Then they will start asking you questions. So, yeah, I applied to God knows, more than like 500, 500 different companies. I was just applying, not knowing what will come. I was just applying. So, but now as I was applying to those different companies, I now realized that, okay, maybe I needed to just con my focus and put it on one particular place. If I say I'm doing EC2, let it be any job I'm applying for will be, creating EC2 instance, creating this AWS, creating EC2 instance. And with that, you can now start seeing some specific job that just needed that. And, that's how, you don't want to just go apply and just, throw it in the air like that, because different servers is going to come out. Only one person, they want you to know AWS, they want you to know GCP, they want you to know Azure. And it got to the point, I was telling one of my colleagues from Abad, like, how do we just know all these things? And this company are asking. But the truth is, if you get in the company, to get the job, how they say, to get the job or to pass the interview is the difficult part. Once you get into the job, then that's going to
Gaurav, I think you mistakenly muted Buchi.
Yeah, I done muted him. Sorry for that.
Yeah, so what I started doing was, making my research. And like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Let me focus on VPC. I want to just focus on VPC. I want to learn everything that has to do with VPC. Now I was doing it on my own, and I remember like, oh no, we had the class. So I went back to my slide, to my dashboard in Thinkcloudly, and I just went for VPC, and I see how now we're explaining it, and breaking it down. So I was putting all this note down as if I knew this is okay. I want to just get this job. So then the interview. So I applied for several jobs. They keep calling me, but I will not get it. Apply for Bowen, apply for different kind of Apple and all of that. They did not call me. So I applied for Amazon. Then Amazon called me. The first one I applied for was their cloud architecture. So they called me. They set me an interview. Again, because I applied for so many. So this is one thing we have to know as well. As we're applying for job, we should always, take down note of jobs we apply for, because sometimes they might be popping up on our system and we don't even know what we're applying for. If they call you, you can't even, defend yourself or ask them what they needed. So I applied for Amazon, and, the interview, I set up the interview, and the lady called me and she asked me, oh, so, she just did the introduction and like, okay, so what is my goal? I was like, I don't understand. What do you mean, what is my goal? I was just saying it in my head. She was like, what do I want to be? In my long run, what do I want to be? Why did I choose AWS? Again, I was just thinking she was just like a recruiter, just trying to, know if I know stuff. I was like, oh, I choose AWS because it's my, the first, like AWS is like 90% of everybody's migrating into AWS cloud and all of that. She was like, okay, she now asked, why not Google or Azure? I was like, yeah, AWS is just my first point that I started up. At the end of that's where I started from. So it's kind of like a stepping stone for me. Then she just stopped me there. She was like, no company is going to want me to use them as a stepping stone to go into other company. Then that was when I now realized like, hey, this person is not ordinary. So I now checked back my email and now see that the email was actually coming from Amazon. Her name, then Amazon.com. I was like, wow, man, I just messed that up. So there was no way I could revive that part. Then that opportunity just lost. So I now like, okay, this is anytime I apply for any of these jobs, I had to put it down. So I applied again for Amazon. Then I got called. So this one I was really prepared. So I was really prepared. I started and I was prepared. Everything was set in my office and I was ready to do the interview. I've never done Amazon interview before, and it was going to be a 6 hours interview. You can imagine 6 hours interview. They just broke it down, but they did not tell me which part comes first, which part comes first. So the first part that came was, customer success and all of that. Man, I was never expecting that kind of interview. I was like, okay, it was asking me how, if a customer did this, how do I do that? I was like, man, I was thinking this is going to be about cloud and all of that. So I did that interview for 2 hours. I know I failed that interview. Then the next interview was technical interview, because I was discouraged for the first interview I did as customer management and all of that. I just bumped that, that interview. I was like, I could not, at the end of the day, I did not get that job. But see, again, I did not give up. Now I now know the scope on how to do it and how they do it. So I applied again for another Amazon position. And I now know the process of it. So I ran through the process, did everything. They were like, okay, they're going to get back to me. So on that same day, just to cut the long story short, on that same day I did Amazon interview, I had my present company, Samsung. I had an interview with them. So remember, like I said, focus on one particular thing. If you know your words, just hold on to it. So now with the idea I had, because I've now been doing interviews, with the idea I had was, if you are answering any question, if they ask you, which school are you going to, or which platform are you using? Thinkcloudly. Now, Thinkcloudly, start telling them the generation of how Thinkcloudly was formed. We introduced Thinkcloudly, everything about Thinkcloudly, so that if they ask about Thinkcloudly, because the next thing they will ask about Thinkcloudly is going to be what is your course schedule or something like that. If you give them, if you did not break this thing well for them, they will keep asking you questions. So try to kill like 5 minutes for one question. So I had my interview with, like 6 managers in the office, and I was like, oh my God. They asked me the first question, tell us about you. You have to have this conch, or we have to, coin this note about, because this is always the first question they tell you, like, tell me about you, introduce yourself. Now, go from your previous or any solution, anything you've done, start telling them about those things. Kill enough time so that they don't have any reason, touch all the point. Because I applied for a security, cloud security and vulnerability management. Now they ask me, okay, tell me about this. I've never done anything like that before. But the moment I decided to, like, okay, I want to go into security, I learned everything about VPC, starting from Thinkcloudly platform, and from there I was, oh, this is subnet, this is route, this is route table, this is this. I'll start learning all those points one after the other. So everything that has to do with the VPC. So when they ask me, tell me about you, I started talking, formulating stuff in my head, projects in my head that I've not done before. Going from
Buchi, just to tell you, like, you have like 2 more minutes left. Okay.
Yeah. So going from stuff that I've not done before, I was just formulating all those stuff, and I was just like, telling them and killing the time. So if the interview was for an hour, 30 minutes, but at the end of the day, they only asked me like 4 questions. Reason because I used like 20 minutes in explaining just one about VPC. So I started doing like, so at the end of the day, like, they don't have any question to ask me, because I've really touched everything that they needed to ask me. So in this sense, what am I trying to pass through is,
When you bring socks for me.
we needed to start from somewhere, and that somewhere that we needed to start from was Thinkcloudly, and that was how they helped me, they groomed me. I keep watching my videos. If I remember something, I go back to my videos and watch, and just keep watching. And I'm grateful that I met Nama, and he was able to, like, he checks on me all the time, like, hey, what's good? How is it going? He's Thinkcloudly right now to me is a family and a friend, where you can always turn to at any time. You have issues, you want to call Nama, you want to always ask questions, and again, don't give up, keep pushing, keep applying, but try to focus on, don't go scattered. Just try to focus on, if it's AWS that we are in, do everything that has to do with AWS, know it, Terraform, just go like that. Don't just let's not just go scattered, because if at the end of the day, so many questions will be coming from different places, and when we are not concentrated on one, that is going to affect our journey. But again, I got the job, like, it's mouth watering. They were giving me the offers. I was just smiling. I could not hold it. I was like, this is a testimony. So at the end of the day, I got the Amazon position, and now I'm going to be be running the 2 show. By next month. So yeah, this is my journey, and I'm grateful to Thinkcloudly. I'm grateful to Nama, and I'm grateful to my team and my colleagues. So thank you very much, and let's keep it going, and enjoy the class, enjoy the journey. It's all worth it. There's no end time that we need to stop learning. Like me, I've enrolled again with Thinkcloudly for Terraform. Keep doing it, keep enrolling, new program coming, keep enrolling, and just let your journey go like that, because it's a platform that is here to stay, and it's going to help so many of us. So thank you very much, guys, and I wish you guys all the best. Your testimony will also come as well, so we're waiting for that. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Buchi. Thank you so much. I think, Buchi, we can relate it, and the people who knows Terraform. So it is like this: job in it, you initialize applying jobs. I mean, thinking about job, then you job plan and job apply. So it goes like that. But thank you so much. Thank you so much, Buchi, for coming here and sharing your journey with our students. This is really important. I'm telling you guys, if someone motivates you, that's something which is important. You know what? There are hundred of people out there who demotivates you every day, but if one person motivates you, it really matters. So don't let your motivation go down. Just feel that you can do it, and that is the same spirit students who have got the job they had, and the same spirit even Buchi had. And that's why Buchi could able to make it. He's the real example in front of us. And I know that many of you are going to become a very good example in future, in coming future, that you're going to become our testimonial for other students, and you will be motivating our other students, rest of the students. So I really appreciate Buchi for coming here and telling us about you and your journey. Thank you.